Now we will discuss the emergence of web series and its impact. Now as we discussed series, its larger predicament on the audiences, we will try to analyze the web series as well in order to understand the mentality, the psychology behind how people are watching which kind of genres. So, this will give us a look into the thought process of the Indian population altogether, and then we will extend it to connect it to the larger study of popular culture, where these dominant subcultures came through these deviant cultures and how we studied it before. And it will be very interesting to discuss or situate it in popular cultural studies as well. Now, to begin with, we have the emergence of these web series. So, the first web series that was made was called Permanent Roommates, and it was produced by the Viral Fever, or popularly called TVF. And this web show premiered on YouTube in the year 2014. So now we know that it was Permanent Roommates by TVF, which came in 2014, which is the pioneer for other web series, or became the pioneer for other web series. Now, what is interesting with this is it was a fresh take on live-in relationship, which has never ever been discussed in mainstream media or the medias that are connected to TVs. So, two people, Tanya and Mikesh, also called popularly Mickey in the show, young couple, how they navigate their complexities, their relationships all together. Now, following this, the success of Permanent Roommates, there were many seasons that came. TVF was a success and a hit amongst youngsters, especially. After the success of Permanent Roommates, TVF came with pictures. It was on the lives of corporate people who are planning to venture into what they call as startups. So it is basically about startup culture, Indian startup culture. It became one of the most praised show in recent Indian entertainment industry. And again in 2016, TVF continued its enormous popularity, and it came with a show called Tripling. It was about three siblings, how they disassociate with their own parents and with their siblings. So, interestingly, this show uh, had three siblings, and their names were from a song, a famous Hindi song. Chanchal was the name of the girl. Chandan was the oldest brother, and Chitwan was the youngest. Chandan was working in US. He married a foreigner and also got divorced. And now Chanchal is a queen, or rather a noble woman. She got married to to a royal. And then there is Chitwan. Chitwan is a DJ. How these three people are struggling and also maneuvering amongst those complexities at the same time showed in a very comedy, or in a very comic way, and well received. Humorously Yours was another one that came. Addition to this, they launched TVF network, such as Galyapa, the Screen Patti, and the Timeliners. So they were on the streak of expanding. They have also successfully launched their own web series, contributing to the series of digital entertainment. Panchayat is also a TVF series. Now, the genres that we see in popular OTT platforms, one is drama. The prime example could be Sacred Games and Made in Heaven. Both had 2 seasons. Sacred Games is based on a book, and it was directed by Anurag Kashyap. It had a lot of violence, obscene, obscenity, but then it again also talked about the society at large, how an individual functions. So there is a Sardar police, his father was a police, his father was a very uh, courageous man. Now his son is confused about moralities. So largely it also talks about godmen, how the issue of godmen in India is garnering a lot of attention and also scandals all around. Made in Heaven is in episodes where there is one cast which is uh, permanent throughout the seasons and throughout the episodes. They are actually a event company, a marriage event company, which bring in everything together to for two people to get married. So this is also about complex relationships, and when they are talking about bringing two people together, celebrating their marriage, we see that the actual event planners, they themselves have a very indecent history of marriage and breakup. Then we have the comedy genre. This comedy genre, Permanent Roommates, TVF Pictures, these all come under the comedy genre. We have thriller and suspense. Uh, Mirzapur and Breathe. So Mirzapur is a place in UP, and it talks about the robustness of the local goon, and they do not want other people to kind of surpass them. So therefore they always try to keep the other people subdued. It also engages a lot of sexual content, talking about agency of women as well, coming from a very repressive society. It is very interesting to note. And then we have Breathe. Again, it is a story about a father who is trying to save his son, and he goes to any length in order to save his son. And again, it is in the category of thriller and suspense. We have romance, Little Things, and Broken but Beautiful. How the young generation is trying to lead their romantic affiliations, how they're moving in when love is so easy. For example, you have all these dating sites. So in this world of dating sites, getting love is not difficult. So how these young adults are catering to their romance. Then we have science fiction. One is Laila and the other one is Ghoul. Ghoul is a horror thriller kind of uh, uh, web series, and it also deals with military, etc. Layla is also situated in the in the future. It is talking about a dystopian society and a totalitarian regime, and then along with that there is elements of science fiction and fantasy. Historical period drama is another genre where we see Bard of Blood, The Forgotten Army on the INA by Subhash Chandra Bose. So it revolves around that. Then we have crime. So there was 2 seasons of Asur, Asur 1 and Asur 2. And then we have Delhi Crime based on Delhi Rape. And Asur is very interesting because it is not a person how he becomes a killer, but how he plans it as a kid. So he starts with killing his own family member who comes in their way, and the darker side of religion is also addressed through Asur. We also have horror. We have two popular shows. One is Typewriter and the other is Betal. Betal anyways translates to ghost, and Typewriter is a show directed by Sujoy Ghosh, where there are 5-6 children who are very inquisitive as to what is there inside one of the houses in the neighborhood, and there is a typewriter where the involvement of the typewriter, whenever people want to move it, something supernatural, unnatural kind of incidents happen. Then we have the youth coming of age, Kota Factory, how one gets into the landscape of Kota when they are preparing for IIT. It is again by TVF. And then we have Flames, which talks about young adults. Documentary or docudrama, docufiction, another category, genre. We have Bad Boy Billionaires, India, where they talk about the tycoons who have fraud cases against them, how the involvement of what they call as greed and corruption leads them to flee the nation. And then we have Crime Stories India Detective, which is about the city Bangalore, where police is investigating 4 uh, cases. Action, again, 2 interesting dramas that pop up. One is Special OPS and the other one is The Family Man. Both are very interestingly placed. Special OPS has the Indian government's involvement, even Family Man also to an extent. In the second season, they also extended to the Sri Lankan Civil War, the involvement of LTTE. Further, last we have Anthology, where we see Love Stories and Ray. So, Love Stories, in each episode, it's a different story of people, different people, directed by different directors. Ray is about Satyajit Ray, how his life has been as a director who made a mark in the film industry. Now, these all genres give us a lot of diversity and richness of content available in these web series, and they also address a variety of social, cultural, and personal themes as well from the series that we just discussed. Moving on to the popular regional web series. So, according to Scoop's data of 2021, we see in the Tamil language we have 2 very famous web series. One is November Story. It was released in Hotstar, Disney Plus Hotstar, and the next one is Ganja. It talks about youngsters' entanglement with illegal cannabis. And then we have Marathi. In the Marathi language, the show that released was in MX Player. The name is Anike Hawa. It is a romantic comedy, a heartwarming mini series. Next in the Marathi language as regional is Honeymoon Savdhan. That is also a mini series about 2 people, Rohit and Vidya, and they have an arranged marriage and they are gradually trying to come in connection with each other, trying to move their life forward. In the Telugu language, we have Unheard. This Unheard is about the chronicles of Indian freedom struggle. It was released in Disney Plus Hotstar. Then another one is 30 Weds 21. It was released in YouTube. It is again a rom-com. And in Bengali language, we have Indu, which was released in MX Player. It is falling into the category of mystery, not exactly thriller, but it has those elements of fantasy plus thriller plus mystery. So, these were the popular regional web series which made it huge. And now moving on to do some sort of analysis in order to understand which kind of web series or which genre is making great or is in top. So, we have data of IMDb of 2023 and 2020, which will help us analyze as to which drama were in number 1 or which was in number 10 and which genre it belonged to, and in which particular OTT it got released. So, according to IMDb's 2023 data, the 10th number was Rocket Boy. So, it is most like a biography. It got released in Sony Live. Then we have Taj, which is a historical drama, got released in ZEE5. Next we have Taza Khabar. So what is so relevant about Taza Khabar is it introduced a very renowned uh, YouTuber called Bhuvan Bam, and it again did really extremely well. It's a satirical comedy. It got released in Hotstar. Next we have seventh, Saas Bahu or Flamingo. This flamingo is a kind of drug which these women are who are in-laws and daughter-in-laws at the same time are kind of is a business model for them, which is also talking about women having some sort of agency. Released in Hotstar, it's a comedy drama. Then we have Dahad, very intense action, released in Prime Video. We have Asur, this is Asur season 2 coming in Jio Cinema, thriller mystery already discussed. Then there is Jubilee at 4, released in Prime. It is a drama, period drama. Rana Naidu coming in Netflix, which is a crime drama. Then at number 2 we have The Night Manager coming in Disney Plus Hotstar. It's a espionage thriller. And first is Farzi, which is a comedy drama releasing in Prime Video. Now this is the ratings of 2023. The ratings of 2020, we see that there is Arya at number 10. The genre is crime drama thriller, and the OTT where it got released is Disney Hotstar. Next we have Abhay, which is also again a crime thriller, released in ZEE5. High, it's a mystery drama released in MX Player. Then we have Patal Lok, again crime thriller. It is bringing us to the point where we see reoccurrence of crime thriller again and again, and it got released in Amazon. Then there is Asur season 1, where we see a psychological thriller mystery getting released in Woot. So in the first season it got released in, in the second season it got released in Jio. In the first season Woot got the right. Coming to number 5, we have Mirzapur. It's again a crime thriller, action, came in Amazon Prime. Then there is Bandish Bandits, a romantic musical coming in Amazon Prime. Then Special OPS, espionage thriller coming in Disney Plus Hotstar. Panchayat by TVF coming as comedy and getting released in Amazon Prime. And first is Scam 1992, the Harsha Mehta story. It's a biography coming in Sony Live. So it is very interesting to know how these genres are making it to the one. Now strikingly, according to the data of 2020 IMDb, the top is biographical, and according to the 2023 data, the 10th number is biographical. But having said that, in 2023, the top was comedy genre. Now, even though comedy and biographical made it to 1, we see almost 7 under the category or genre of crime thriller. What does it tell us? Like, what can this analysis mean? Now, there could be several other reasons why these shows did well, or why these genres were chosen above other. One of the reason could be, again, as we had already discovered or discussed it later, that these OTT platforms works on data. They are more into this data driven algorithm, and that might give you suggestions because you just watched it, and then it may lead to an analysis. That is why cultural studies is so important. Not this digital anthropology gives us a different kind of insight, or the study through sociology will give us a different kind of insight. Therefore, it will be interesting to note how it gets situated in the subculture. Now, the analysis shows that the crime thriller genres had almost 7, and Rocket Boys and Harshad Mehta 2 in the category of biographical. The other genres that were there were drama, musical, comedy, etc. Now, among this listed, 7 out of 10 finally falling under this category, which is crime thriller. Crime thriller genres seem to have a wide appeal across OTT platforms, represented on Disney, Zee, Amazon, and Woot. The other genres like drama and romance are also popular, but they have been outnumbered by crime thriller. Overall analysis suggests that the crime thriller genre is watched the most, indicating a significant preference for suspense and intense narrative among viewers. So other reason, as we mentioned, if we go through the analysis of through or the research through digital anthropology, we might get a different hypothesis to prove, but looking at the data at hand and analyzing it in terms of number, this is the result that we have right now. Now, focusing on this youth subcultures and crime thrillers. So, what is the linkage between these two? These crime thrillers basically revolve around youth subcultures. Youth are the most who are interested in this, and subcultures were initially the meanings initiate from deviant culture. Later they were called as neo tribe, a different kind of tribe which is not mainstream. So when we are referring to neo tribe or deviant culture, it often leads to subcultures and identity formation outside of the main culture or mainstream culture is happening. These crime and crime thrillers or crimes in general also is done by people who do not consider themselves in the mainstream. So according to the studies of subculture, crime and thriller narratives with their emphasis on moral ambiguity and complex characters may resonate with young viewers. So, why these subcultures can be linked to crime thrillers? The reason being that there is a lot of moral ambiguity to talk about, and also the characters are very complex, and therefore they resonate with young viewers. What happened with metal bands? So, these metal bands had music which was very loud. Growling was also part of this kind of music, and people took it as an escapism. Bringing back that idea from subcultures, we can also say that the youths are resonating with these kind of topics such as crime thriller and suspense is because these young viewers find their identity, or they're trying to navigate their own identities and moral compass. So they yet do not know what they want, right? They are confused. Complexity is building inside, and passing through all those anxieties is in a way making them resonate with this culture, which is genre, which is crime thriller. Now this is also coming along with rebellion and dissent. Subcultures is seen to be very what they call as opposition, right? So it is kind of always opposing, resistance is attached to that. So that is what it discusses, how these youth subcultures and crime thrillers are coming out as rebellion and dissent. So these crime thriller genres often depict protagonists who operate outside the boundaries of the law. So they are breaking all the laws, first of all, challenging established norms. So there are norms made for the society that they don't like, and they often challenge a way to resist. This can appeal to youth subcultures that value rebellion and dissent against societal constraints. So going back again to the subcultures, how the Chicago school, how Frankfurt and also Birmingham studied these subcultures, they again can be situated among dissent and rebellion, leaving out societal constraints which they don't adhere to. Finally, escapism and fantasy through metal, through groaning, which is seen as bringing out their repressive desire, repressiveness, bringing out their angst and stress. We see what happens with escapism and fantasy, these kind of genres. For some youth subcultures, crime and thriller content may offer a form of escapism from the reality of everyday. So, the reality of everyday they might think is more gruesome in nature to them, and therefore they feel that these crime thriller acts as, first of all, it is interesting, that is another study altogether, but if we are trying to associate or locate crime thrillers in youth subcultures, we have to follow these hooks of studying subcultures, which is again coming back to escapism. So, they are in a way trying to escape the reality, which they might feel that is more gruesome. The suspenseful plot and high stakes action provide an immersive experience that allows the viewers to temporarily escape. So, this is how it is getting situated in the larger study of what we call as popular culture. The cultural influences, the popularity of these particular crime thriller shows may also be influenced by broader cultural trends and global media influences, and they situate it in transnationalism. So, it is not limited to something very rural or something very vernacular, but we see the influences coming from the global parts as well. So, for example, there was a show which talked about robbery, and it got really intriguing insights from its viewers, and it did really well. So, the idea of performing a very systematic kind of robbery was quite famous amongst the youth, the millennials. These transnationalism young viewers may gravitate towards content that reflects international trends. So, they see it as an international trend, crime and thriller, and therefore they take this entertainment and also consume at the same time. Now, what happens with these subcultures? They join a community. In fact, if you remember when we were discussing subcultures, another word that is used for subcultures is community, and with that we have also fandom. Now, crime thriller shows often cultivate dedicated fan communities and online fandom for youth subcultures that value community and belonging. Now, the definition of youth culture also with time has changed. It is no longer only a deviant culture. So, if for example we talk about BTS, their fandom or fan club is called ARMY. So, similarly these crime thriller audiences might have their own subcultures or fandom, online clubs, these community where they find some sort of belongingness. Finally, the convergence of youth subcultures and crime thrillers content in Indian OTT platform reflects the diverse interest. These shows serve as a reflection of the complex and multifaceted nature of youth culture in India. So, in a way, through these crime thriller, which is being more liked by the population or which is being most watched by this population, by this young population, is also reflecting the complex and multifaceted nature of the youth, of today's youth in some ways. Suchi Bansal came up with a write-up in the newspaper called The Mint, and the title said, are young Indians going from TV to online content? So, it is trying to answer this question that are the young Indians going away to online content or choosing online content over TV? So, according to the study, she says that a Deepstick survey that was conducted among 20 to 24 years people in few cities like Lucknow, Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, Bareilly revealed that none of the respondents in this age group watch television. So, one point already established that the young generation, which is between 20 to 24, no one watches television. Reasons cited include inconvenience to adhere to TV schedules, and lack of attracting programs. So, their parents might be watching news or uh, watching some serial, they don't have access to the remote. So, that could also be one of the reasons. Second is programs don't interest them. Many young viewers fulfill their entertainment and information need through consuming content online. Already we discussed on these platforms. While there is evidence of declining interest in television among youth, there is lack of statistical data on cord cutting behavior in India, where viewers cancel or forego paid television subscriptions in favor of internet based service. So, it is also seen, but because of the lack of statistical data, they cannot establish it that people are not subscribing to DTH channels, rather they are watching internet or using internet to watch shows in TV. Further, we see that the experts suggest that the younger demographic may not introduce traditional TV subscriptions when they are setting up homes. So, the coming generation, the millennials, the people, the students who are now in between, or the working professionals between 20 to 24 group, or even the teenagers, when they set up their home, they might not buy a television altogether, all thanks to OTT. They are anyways not interested to watch the series, TV series. They find a sort of disattachment to it, the content, etc., and therefore it might contribute in shifting away from this linear television consumption. Another interesting point to note here is the industry professionals note a structural shift in entertainment consumption, with cord being replaced by VOD, which is video on demand. These broadcasting content funded by ads tends to cater to mass viewership, leaving urban audiences seeking niche content unsatisfied. So, because of this bringing of advertisement in between the content that they are watching, these urban population especially seeking niche content unsatisfied. So, they are looking for it, but they are not satisfied. There is a large viewership outright there. Young viewers prefer entertainment that is personalized, accessible on multiple devices and available at their preferred time and place. So, these young viewers have a different set of demands. They want a very personalized kind of entertainment, customized in a way, and they also want it in different devices. So, it could be phone, it could be an iPad, it could be a system, it could be a laptop. So, the accessibility should be in all. That is what their demand states. And finally, the popularity of OTT platforms is evident in the rise of subscribers and viewership that we see, and the numbers also, particularly during major events like the IPL. So, during IPL or the football FIFA World Cup, we see the number of subscribers increasing. Now, the other gimmick that Jio Cinema has come up with, that during a particular time of IPL, they because it is free, because sports is free in Jio, subscribers come to Jio to watch particular cricketers only during that time, and they show that during this time frame to this time frame, the viewership grew from this number to that number. So, that is also a advertisement gimmick that Jio has started. With cable and DTH, firms are adapting to the changing landscape of offering broadband services, partnering with OTT platforms. So, in a way, nowadays, even though when people have DTH, they are not recharging it. So, now these platforms, broadband services, are trying to bring the platform and these services in a partnership. Experts believe that India will remain an and market for the foreseeable future, with households having both traditional TV and broadband connections. And the long term OTT platforms are expected to redefine content creation, consumption and monetization, although traditional TV is likely to remain relevant in the short term. Because of still the relevance of DTH and cable, it is only catering, these OTT might only be catering, especially Netflix and Amazon, to the urban elite, to the semi-urban, to also the tier 2 cities, but beyond that, the OTT platforms still need to wait and watch, because more than half of the population might have access to these OTT platforms in their phones and in their apps. But this subscription based model may raise question for the population, the Indian consumer, to see whether they are using these apps or they are going for the more indigenous platforms, indigenous OTT platforms to consume content, because they are also coming in with regional and very much vernacular. And anyways, if we are talking about tier 3 cities, they don't intend to indulge in global content that is brought in by Amazon and what we call as Netflix.